What's going on, YouTube? Trading the Life here one more time, guys and gals and gals and gals. Yeah, and my daughter's laughing at me. But anyway, all right, guys. I know. I'm here. In case you guys coming in, welcome to the chat. But I'm gonna get rolling. I'm not that sleepy tonight, but I'm gonna try to roll as much as I could. Shout out to everybody in the chat. If you got any questions, please put it in the chat. And I'll try to answer it as I'm rambling on. So, why intermodal trucking is good for some drivers? There's a title of the video. Because some people ask me, I get a lot of questions. Why, if the intermodal is so bad, why people? And if you guys are wondering why I'm looking down, you guys can see the lives. The camera is up here. I feel weird just looking up here, so I'm just gonna look at the screen down below. So why intermodal trucking is some drivers choose that. If it's so hard and it's so difficult and it's so crazy, why? Well, intermodal has its perks. For one, I ain't gonna say it's recession proof, but a lot of times, a lot of companies over the last, I would say 20 some years, they starting to go more intermodal route to ship. They still use OTR, they still use LTL and all that stuff too, but a lot of companies like YRC, Swift, man, Snyder been in there, JB Hunt been in there, but a lot of them starting to use intermodal companies, intermodal route a lot more. So it's gonna be more of a job security. And besides, everybody don't want to do intermodal. So if you can get in intermodal and figure out how to work the business of intermodal and make it work for you, you kind of have a. It depends. It also depends on how you get into the intermodal too. You know what I'm saying? Biz side of things to even make it work for you. But if you get in and you make it work for you, it can be very lucrative if you get in the right side. You position yourself the right way in intermodal. But that's one reason. Another reason for people, some drivers choose intermodal for more home time because a lot of drivers lose a lot of time on the road and they feel like if I'm gonna spend much time, if I'm gonna lose some time anyway, I might as well lose time being home more. So guys get into intermodal because the way the intermodal is set up, it's set up a couple ways. One way is when you run intermodal, you may get a load going from rail, or they call it ramp, to customer, and customer back to another customer, back to the ramp. Or sometimes you may have a rail or ramp to the customer straight back to the ramp. Or they have what you have is cross towns, yard moves, and all that other stuff. So the way it's set up, you could get home more often because like them chassis and stuff got to get back to a certain ramp before people start getting charged. So you ain't finna just get a load, just go out, go out, go out, keep on going, and never come back. Like they gonna run you across the country. That intermodal don't work like that. Even though some intermodal equipment do go pretty far out, but for the most part, it comes back. So that was one selling point for me. And truth be told, I wasn't even trying to get to intermodal. I was just trying to get a truck. And me getting a truck came with intermodal. So, but when I came in, is the way I came in. I've done just a little side note. I've done intermodal where I did the customer to customer. I did the customer to ramp to customer and back. I did cross. I did pretty much all of them things. But the best one I found is better for me is from rail to the customer back to rail. But it don't matter which one you do. You get home. Ramp information. I mean ramp information. Rail yard trucking is different because it's. I'm gonna touch on the quarrels you'll have with running a modal, which I had a guy get on here not too long ago talking about. I don't know what y'all complaining about the rail yards for. I'm gonna be running a week. I ain't got them problems. I get it. I said, like my mom used to tell me, what I'm saying. So I get it. Just keep on doing it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But anyway, I digress. But what I'm saying is, like with the intermodal, selling point for me was when I'll be able to get home more often because I've heard the rumors of truck drivers losing their family to the road and all that stuff. So I said, man, how bad could intermodal be? How bad could it be, right? But they got a lot better now. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot better for people getting into the industry now. They got apps now. They their equipment, like DCLI is really stepping up their equipment. Shout out to DCLI. I don't know who's over they newer chassis, refurbished chassis. I had one of my videos where I think so we got antique cars, I got antique chassis. Man, some of them chassis so old, man. I saw one chassis had 1972 on there, but they had spray painted it or something to make it look newer. But I looked at the registration. I'm like, man, this chassis, boy, it's old as dirt, man. But anyway, I digress. But anyway, shout out to DCLI because they actually getting some newer chassis in there. They got some quirks with them. They working out, but for the most part, you okay? For the most part, though, you know, they a lot better. And the rail yard itself is getting a lot better. Some Smalley, come on, baby. Come on, baby. You're too loud. All right, so but Intermodal itself, it's getting a lot better. So a lot of guys choose Intermodal for more home time and actually to pay, you make decent money when you know what you're doing. So for the most part, that's why a lot of guys choose Intermodal now. So if anybody any questions, please put in the chat. I try to answer as many questions. I try to create the live so I have a topic to talk about, but also to answer questions. If anybody any questions, please put in the chat so we can address it. If not, I'm gonna keep rambling on to make this live full so I can keep it up. If it's too dry or too empty, I'm taking it down. So anyway, but most people that get into modal, they face the problems of bad equipment. Now, when I say bad equipment, it means you can't just get into this equipment and just ride. Like I'm gonna give you an example. Like the other day, now I knew better, but I wasn't thinking, right? You suppose that when you took a chassis, sometimes the lights work, sometimes they don't. Sometimes all of them work, sometimes all of them don't. The sun was going down. When I started my trip, the sun was up, right? I didn't think about possibility of the sun going down. So this is the difference between running intermodal versus running regular trailers. I was afraid. I was about a good 15 minutes from a customer, right? But I was afraid to turn my lights on because I didn't know if all of them worked or not. So I'm riding. All I can see is like the what do you call them? Daytime running lights on my truck. I see it on the ground like the headlights. That's how dark it's getting on me, right? But I'm on the expressway. Like I'm finna get off. I get off. I can make 15 more minutes. But anyway, long story short is that you don't know this stuff will work or not, man. I've had chassis where one of my headlights only worked because of the chassis. I thought I had a short. Unhook the chassis, all my lights start working again. So that's some of the downsides to it. It have other downsides to it. For the most part, though, in a modal, it'll make you one driver. It make you one tough driver. I say that. And you could take an intermodal driver who's been doing it a while, and that has been in the grit, that's been through some stuff with intermodal. You could put them in any arena and of trucking, and they probably will dominate. Not knocking anybody else who do different divisions of trucking, but if you take an intermodal guy who's been through at least a couple years, probably dealt with some 20s and 40s and dealt with some 53s, you take him and put him or her and put him in any other industry. Like the other day, this is how crazy this is. I want to touch on this. The other day, matter of fact, this was Thursday, last week Thursday. I pulled a U.S. Express trailer, right? A regular trailer, a civilian trailer, surprisingly, right? I pulled them all day for some reason. Tell me why. I hooked up to it. I felt more nervous pulling a regular trailer than I did pulling a can. If you ever pulled a can, you know it's like it's a lot of noise, especially when they're empty. They make a lot of noise because you got two pieces rattling together. I'm so used to the noise and hearing something rattling back there that when I pulled that regular trailer, I heard nothing. I'm like, man, hope this thing don't fall apart on me, man. And it's a regular trailer. It's supposed to be the other way around. When you hear the rattling, you're supposed to think, hope this thing don't fall apart. But to me, that was the normal. The containers are normal. So I pulled them and it felt weird. So now I thought to myself, I had to take a pause for the calls. And I'm like, man, what is wrong with you? This is a real regular trailer. The lights work. You could take that trailer on the road and turn it on in the middle of the trip like I did, and a lot of the lights worked. They worked. So that's a downside to running intermodal, but upsides to me is much better as far as like people who want more home time. You don't have a lot of home time. You don't care about home time, then intermodal work for you, but I don't think you'll last long because a lot of guys stick it out because of the home time part, and also so you can make decent money. Once you get in the mix and you figure out how to do things, you figure out the protocol, you get the map of the yard, and you figure out, okay, if this don't work, then I'm gonna do this next. If that don't work, then I'm gonna do this next. Versus getting stuck, getting analysis paralysis, sitting in driver assistance because you don't know what's going on. And some people be too prideful to ask people for help, but they're like, man, I got it. I'm like, yeah, you be sitting there all day. Because rail yards is one of them things. It's like a world of its own, kind of so to speak. So if you don't know what's going on in the rail yards, you could get lost. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know to like get certain numbers checked, if you don't know how to like if the driver assistant tell you one thing, how to get on the ground and do some foot surveillance yourself, because they sit in the office and you actually out there in the field. So stuff like that that really save a lot of guys a lot of time in the rail yard. So if you don't know basic, I would say survival tactics, but if you don't know basic just how to get around the rail yards, a lot of guys don't make it, and they want to be home. When I first got into intermodal, it was I got to 53s at first. I thought they were really horrible. Then I got out. I came back and I did 20s and 40s. I said, man, 53s is a cakewalk compared to these. I'm going back to them. But now I've heard in some parts from you guys on YouTube that some parts of the country, the 20s and 40 chassis, are getting a little bit better. I don't know. But over here in the Midwest, the chassis still kind of out of, you know. But I'm saying all to say this. If you get into intermodal, you got to deal with all this stuff right here. So if you get home more, you might have to fight more. You may come to work clean and leave home, come back home dirty. It'd be some, what tripped me out, too, be some guys in the rail yard with white shirts on. And I'm like, man, dude, you know that shirt ain't going to make it that color by the time you get off work. You know that, right? And they be in there like clean. I saw this one guy with some clean from top to bottom, man. And we had to go into this yard. Some yards is like muddy. And I'm like, man, you hope you don't like them clothes you got on, the shoes you got on, because it's going to be a muddy situation, you know? So, but anyway, that's one downside too. It ain't the cleanest job, man. Type of jobs where you got to get in, where you fit in, and you got to make it happen. So some guys actually change the clothes in their truck. They change clothes. That's just too much for me. That's too much. I just wear something that I don't mind messing up, and I just get down how I live while I'm out there and just go home. So, but anyway, long story short is rail yards is a good business, man. Depends on what type of position you in. Like you come in as an owner operator, or you come in as a lease operator, you come in as a company driver. You can make all three of them positions working in a modal if you know what you're doing and you got some place you got something you want to get out of it. But anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling. Anybody got any questions, please put in the chat. I'm not planning on being here too long. Shout out to people in the room right now. I don't plan on being here too long. I just want to just kind of touch down. I'm trying to make this a habit. I've been doing like a month and a half, I believe now, coming live on Sundays. So sometimes it be cracking, sometimes it don't. But anyway, I digress. But at the end of the day, at the end of all of this, it's about trucking. It's one of them things where nobody goes tell you how to make it work. They ain't gonna sit you down and say you should do this. Something you got to figure out on your own. And a modal worked out for me because of my situation. I said a lot of videos, this fit my situation, and it does in so many ways because I know how to, I don't gonna say manipulate the scheduling or manipulate the. I know rail yards I know it too good to be doing something else right now. I can take this mental brain power and do something else while I'm still able to provide for my family. When I could build something else and still do this. This is like autopilot. You put me in a rail yard, I'm like a fish in water. So once you get to that point, rail yards ain't as bad. They still get frustrating. They get super frustrating sometimes from time to time, but not as much when you do it so often. So when I do it, hold on guys, sorry about that. But when I do it, it's not like every day because I got the steps in my head, I got systems in my head what to do. But if you figure that out, you figure out what you want to do with the money you make from it, I think it's a dope career because you don't have to jeopardize your home time as much because of work, you know. So that's a selling point on intermodal, guys. And I don't believe that intermodal is going nowhere anytime soon. There are sayings that it's supposed to be a strike of intermodal. I think middle of December. Intermodal is like a very big part of the U.S. economy, man. So they do strike, they'll be back. I don't think all of them going down because they do. So knock a big dent in the economy and that the economy really ready for. That's just my personal opinion. So intermodal has the perks too of being around. It's longevity because I don't think it's going nowhere. To be honest with you, but I ain't saying you want to stand there 20 years and 30 years. And I'm saying that if you do, that's cool. But if a driver, why some people choose it is because of the home time. You can make decent money, and you could actually do a lot of different type of work. Like with intermodal, it ain't just one thing. You could do I don't know about them ISO tanks. There's some guys on here that do ISO tanks. You could pull 20s, you could pull 45s, you could pull 40s, you could pull 53s. They got hazmat. I ain't saying all this is good. I'm just saying the experience you get from doing all this stuff, and it's a hard knock course. What's it called? What is those? Not a school of hard knocks. It's called it's like a crash course, man. Like That's one downside, but I don't even think it's a downside. I think it's a side where you got to get down how you live or you'll get down type of deal because ain't nobody gonna tell you, hey man, make sure your pins is locked. Hey man, make sure that wheel ain't gonna fall off. Make sure that axle, what's that called? The axle hub. Make sure that hub cap is on there because sometimes those caps be missing. Or make sure that all the lug nuts is there. Nobody gonna tell you that stuff. Or make sure your tandem pins is locked because sometimes they be jammed in between the lock position and off position, unlock position, and you don't know you jam on the brakes of the light or something, and your tandems come flying off. Stuff like that. Or make sure all the lights is working. Or make sure you got to run a jumper. Or make sure the lights plate light working. Make sure the lights plate light is there. Make sure the lights plate is there itself. They don't tell you that stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things you got to find out. Like when you get in the mix, it's a crash course. And so if you get through that, if a person, this type of person, out in my personal opinion, that you have to be to deal with intermodal. But if you figure this out, it could work out for you. If you're the type of person that can think on the fly, you can make decisions, and you know what I'm saying. You make decisions quickly, and you could think multifaceted. I think that's the word I'm looking for. You could think in multiple ways and not just one track. They don't. These type of people could make it. I've trained people in a modal part where they one track minded, like they just one tracked. So that type of person they won't survive in a area because you got to be thinking on multiple levels. And I gotta say, I got something in the comments. All right, what's going on, Carlos? How you doing, bro? It said, what area is better to work in a modal Chicagoland area, south, northwest, or city? When you say southwest, north, or city, you talking about like the south side? Because which which area is better to work in a modal in the Chicagoland area? Um, oh, west. That's the question, man. The reason I say that, Carlos, is because it depends. Like if you okay, I say it like this: if you were a carrier that got a lot of work going west, that's cool. But if you were a carrier that got a lot of work going north, that might not be that cool because if I'm talking when I say north, I'm talking about like Lake in the Hills and Vernon Hills and all that stuff up in there. During rush hour, you could lose a lot of time just in traffic getting up that way. Munderland area, you know what I'm saying? Because they may have a lot of work going up there, but you got to go up there back to like Corwith on Kidsey or come up there going back to 47th Street and try to go back up there. You'll lose a lot of time unless you get paid by the hour. But you can lose a lot of time just in the commute. So, but if they got a lot of work going west of Chicago, be better like Joliet, Elwood area. Like right here, I say you said Elwood, Harvey, Northbrook, Chi-Town. Depends what type of work it is, man. Like as far as I'm thinking, when you say better type of work, I'm not thinking of pay because a lot of times stuff all pay the same. It pays a flat rate or it pays by the mile or it pays whatever, something like that, right? So when you say better work, I'm thinking of less congestion, less traffic, easy to get in and get out. That's just the commute side. Then on a customer side or rail yard side, if you're doing cross towns, are you able to get in and get out of them in certain time? Like certain rail, like I'll give you an example, like 47th Street. By the time somebody gotta go to 47th Street in Chicago, and you gotta run some runs out of there in this morning time. If you could get out the city, go like 1:30, 2 o'clock, 9094, we messed up going south. So that's what I'm saying. When you ask me, I'm thinking of traffic times, commute times. I ain't touched on the customer side yet, but if you going on 94, you got no traffic patterns. If you're going 55 south from 94, you want to get through there about 1:30 p.m. Because not it's gonna be jacked up going that way. Downtown Chicago's always jacked up. You just got it's a hit or miss going through there. That's going north. Going west from 94, 155 south, 1:30, it'd be jacked up. Going south on 9094 from about 47th area, Global 1 area, you want to get through there by 2 o'clock. It'll be jam-packed rush hour by that time. Going 80 west, you want to get through there by like no later than 3 or 4 because it'll be jacked up going west. Going toward Indiana, going east off 80. You see what I'm saying? So I'm thinking like, I know all this stuff I've been doing so long. And 290 always messed up. You already can't peg that either way. So that's messed up. And that's actually going northwest suburbs. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I mean when you say, that's what I'm Carlos, when you say which area is better to work intermodal. As far as like commute time, running west is a lot better. It's less traffic, more suburban, like southwest. Northwest, better. Schaumburg, well, we messed up with 290 over there. That's all that messed up over there. But if I had my choice, I like running 80 west. I like staying on 80 and running west because it's once you get through that construction by Joliet area, it's kind of open out there. You know what I'm saying? Get in, get out. Now on the customer side, if you do run a lot of work running west, but the customers hold you hostage a lot, you still losing. Smalley, come on, baby. Come on, Peanut. Yeah, I know. Just lower it down a little bit, okay? No, just lower it down a little bit. Smalley, turn it down just a little bit. You turn it down. Not you, no, your volume, you. Uh, um, stay right there. No, I'm saying just turn it down. No, go over there with that. Oh. Go over there with that. All right. I forgot what I was saying. 80 West, I think. Anyway, when you deal with customers, like I said, you can have customers as West, but then they may be like a hold you up spot. You know what I'm saying? So when you say which area better to work in a modal, I'm thinking first thing I'm gonna think of is traffic and congestion and commute. Because if you lose a lot of time in the congestion, you can't make a lot of moves anyway because you held your clock getting ran down in traffic. So if I had it my way, I would run west. I run west now a lot. I'd run north a lot. Chill out. Chill out. Okay. All right. So I would run west a lot, but I forgot what I was saying. But there's a lot of factors into that, Carlos. I don't know if that answers your question, man, but I wouldn't. I don't know. It's a lot of so many factors in that. I don't like running north. I tell you that, like toward Wisconsin area, like I say, northwest. I don't like running over there because it gets real congested up in there. It's a lot of back roads, like Munderland area, all of that. I don't like running up in there. Not if I can help it. But some customers are actually pretty decent up in there, but it's just the traffic and congestion. So I don't know. Hope that answers your question, Carlos. But as far as being intermodal drivers, even with that being an intermodal driver, you got to know stuff like that. Whatever city you live in, like the Chicagoland area, like I mentioned about certain ways you run, you got to make sure that you understand traffic times and all that stuff. Because people look at the time I work, the time I start in the morning, they don't want to do that because I'm right in the middle of traffic. But I could time it because I know traffic patterns. I got something right here. Chance, what's going on, Chance? I heard about the rail yard strike in December. Also waiting to if it happened. See if it happened. Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, me too, man. But you know what I'm saying? Like I said in one of my earlier videos, if they do strike, if you could weather the storm, see? Oh, no, I got you, Chance. I knew this was what you was talking about. So now, if you could weather the storm, people they could actually hold off if they do strike. Because I don't believe they're going out of business. They dealing with the same stuff us truckers dealing with. Like we going on strike, we trying to get more money. And I know this, and I ain't gonna say it on here, but I'm gonna say it in a certain way without saying it. Some intermodal workers, I would say that they not getting treated the best. And actually crazy, I got a couple buddies as crane dudes, Mr. Crane dudes. So I find out different things that they deal with. I'm like, man. And so that I can see why like a lot of people want to strike, because people get done wrong everywhere, man. They think people go work for peanuts, and you put all this work on them. They want them to overwork themselves, and you ain't paying them right. Then yeah, you get strikes like people in trucking. IGV, what's going on, man? You said, do you see Mudflap app to find deals on diesel? Thanks. Do I use Mudflap app? I do, but the thing is, I don't see. I got Mudflap on my phone. I do have it. And to answer your question, yes, I do have it. And I was using it. Like when I run an area I don't know and I know I need fuel, I find out decent areas they got decent diesel prices. But by me running like local, so I do like a 150-mile radius, I pretty much know all the fuel spots the area I run. So I don't use it as much now because I already know, where to stop at for my fuel. But mud flap is pretty decent though. When I was using it, when I was running regional, running out further, it's pretty helpful, man. Let you know who got the lowest diesel and where they at, and I like it. Like it. It's a good app. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I got it. I just don't use it as much lately. I don't. But as far as like intermodal, being like a choice of a lot of drivers, it can actually pay pretty decent. You know what I'm saying? You can make a decent living. I never seen so many company drivers that made so much money outside of LTL. I would say outside of LTL. And I ain't saying anymore. I'm just saying I just seen some work intermodal. This company drivers is making really, really decent checks. And it's been some owner operators that run intermodal actually got rid of their trucks and became company drivers because they was getting paid a lot decent in the motor side. Now, lady with the corona thing, that's got things all messed up. But for the most part, it's about what works for you. Intermodal sells a lot because of the home time, and it works for a lot of guys, and they're willing to deal with the craziness. Well, some people are. Some people bail out, man, and I get it, because you gotta understand. There we go. You gotta understand what you're doing when you do it, because a lot of people think, well, I'm doing intermodal, I'm just gonna do it. I be seeing guys. I saw a guy the other day right out the rail yard. Well, I tried to catch the guy. I tried to catch him before he got to the outgate, and I wasn't able to catch him because guys cut you off, which I'm gonna speak on that in a minute too. That's kind of frustrating. That's like a little rant, but I'm gonna get to that one second. I tried to catch the guy. His back pin was like turned, and his box was on the pin. I tried to flag him down. This guy was hitting gears like it was going out of style. I just couldn't catch him, right? Now, we finally get through the portal to the outgate. I said, hey, man, got problems. And he's like, what? I said, well, your pin ain't turned. I don't know if I let you know. I don't know what you could do about that. So I don't know what he did with that. But anyway, let me say something else about rail yards. This is my little rant right here. The other day, this run rail yard, I ain't gonna say on here, was really jacked up for like 3 days in a row. The outgate was so messed up. You could tell somebody's character by the way they drive sometimes, right? And it was so messed up that the outgate line it sits right farther way on the side of the yard. The lines were so long they was coming to the lanes like the regular aisles where the trailers was at. So guys that had to get their trailers out of lanes, they couldn't even get their trailers because the outgate line was they couldn't even get past the truck. That's how messed up it was, right? So now you get almost to like where it has like my hands up, like a lane right here, lane right here, lane right here. They all merge into one lane, right? So now first you would think that people have common courtesy. Okay, this guy's kind of in front of me. Let me go ahead and let this guy go because I ain't gonna try to race him to the bottleneck. Then we all stuck in the bottleneck because can't nobody get through, right? That's kind of the normal thing to do. Some of these guys almost had accidents, guys, and this is no exaggeration. They was riding a bumper of the person in front of them so much that they was trying to keep other guys from getting in front of them that they almost had accidents and almost messed it up for everybody. I mean, not just one guy, not just two guys, about 5 or 6 guys did that, right? And so I'm like, I just stopped. I just stopped. I'm like, you know what? We like animals right now. We all want to get out of here. We all messed up. We've been sitting in line for over an hour. We're trying to get out. But having an accident, you go jam up everybody else now because you trying to. Some guys just don't get it. And then what tripped me out was this the part that tripped me out the most. One guy cut me off and he smiled while he was doing it. Right. I threw my hands in there like, dude, like, where are you going? He just smiled like, and as he kept going, cutting me off, like running me onto the mud. I said, man, all right, that's enough of my rant. Some guys in the rail yards, man, they really. Some guys is crazy, man. You know any way to say it. Some of them guys are nuts, man. And you try to. Anyway, I'm back. I feel my blood pressure going up because, man, you'll lose it. And I see how guys almost get into fights in rail yards over stuff like that, man. Because you can't go nowhere, so you get out your truck. Anyway. So if you're ever in the jam like that, man, just have common courtesy. Let the person go. You know what I'm saying? As long as too many people ain't trying to bogart their way in, just let them go, man. Just let them go. It ain't even worth it. Some guys don't have an accident to really just, man, it's just, I was so frustrated that day because one day, that same one of them days, I got held up in that. I lost 3 hours between the in-gate, out-gate, and rail yard time, right, on that one trip. I lost 3 hours. I finally get out of there from the guys trying to have accidents. I get on the main road and I get blocked up for another hour by a train on the street. I lost 4 hours on one trip. You talking about frustrated? So if anybody frustrated, I understand. And I get paid by the move. I don't get paid by the hour. So I lost all that time and just didn't get paid nothing besides for that one move. All right, Chan says respect is gone. New drivers, yeah, man. Some of these, yeah, man. I try to be respectful, Chance, man. But some of these guys don't give two foxtails, man. Some guys just don't care. Like they just don't care. They willing to have an accident to keep you from getting in. And that guy was kind of on the loony side, man. Though smiling at me as he cut me off. He was smiling as he cut me off and waved. Throw my hands in there like, dude, what are you doing, man? Anyway, you want to see how some people act? You know, some people, since I'm talking about this, some people say, well, we don't need laws. You know, laws is overrated. Some of the laws is overrated. Could you imagine having a lawless country? If people can't even stop at a stop sign, you know, and one more thing, I want to say this. It's a rail yard, the same rail yard. Outside is a 4-way stop sign. Some people are just all about their own self and their own mind. They run through the stop sign. They see you sitting there. They know they're supposed to pull up and stop. They just do a what they call a rolling stop. They ain't even stop. It's a roll and roll. And it's keep on going. You look at them like, you know you didn't have that. Completely didn't have that. And you just sit there looking. You just look at them like, you ease your way out there because, you know, if you hit the dude or dude hit you, now it's a whole situation. But they know in their mind, I'm pretty sure that they know they're supposed to stop. You want to see how somebody really act, man, put them in a crunch. Like a jam, like a rail yard jam. You will see character come out, boy. But anyway, I digress. So that's all my little rant. But anyway, a lot of guys do rail yards. Besides stuff like that, you know, that'll drive people crazy too, man. But besides stuff like that, people do intermodal for the benefits of it, of being home, building something, taking their money from that and doing something else. That's a lot of the reason a lot of guys do intermodal. I do it for that. I knew at all my years of doing intermodal, I met one guy, and I remember this dude clearly. He actually enjoyed intermodal. Like, that's what he lived for. But he had the things going on. The crazy part about his situation was he had other things going on too. He had stores and stuff, like regular retail stores outside of trucking. So I guess that was like his little getaway intermodal. But he actually enjoyed it. So anyway, if you guys got any questions, please in the chat. 32 minutes, not that bad, not too shabby. Any questions, put in the chat, guys. But in the meantime, I'm gonna keep rambling on about intermodal drivers so that this thing could be full, so I can find a reason to leave it up. But anyway, if you have a question about if you ever curious about intermodal or how it works, I have a lot of videos on this channel talking about it, actually showing me dealing with a lot of craziness from no billing to storage, and you know, and trying to find boxes that's supposed to be in one place and they're not. But so it's designed to really help a lot of people out for the most part. But in case you guys don't know, my channel I'm not showing as much of me doing that no more, because I feel like, so 400 videos showing that, I mean, how much more could I really show? Because I know some guys like, well, I miss your driving videos. Now, shout out to you guys too. I miss your driving videos, I miss the more rail yard videos. So that's why I don't show it as much, because I'm about growing and progressing and, you know, doing more things. I can't just keep doing the same thing over and over. So in case you guys wonder, you're new to the channel, welcome. Because I found out by me doing lives, it opens up this channel to other people who only watch lives. Did you guys know, man, it's like a YouTube, I don't know what you call it. I think it's an algorithm, but it's like a YouTube community of people. Some people only watch, this is my curiosity, I'm just spitting it out here. Some people only watch pre-recorded videos. You got some people that only watch live videos. I had no idea. So by me doing lives is opening up the channel to other people that I never thought would even watch a channel like this, because I guess because of what they do. But so it's opening up different things, different avenues. So, you know, it's one of them things like, wow, I didn't know that. Even YouTube like it, because they started sending me other stuff that I didn't have. They unlocking stuff on the channel now that I never knew I could unlock, only because of people doing live. That was my little rant there. I didn't know that. on, man? You said thank you, brother, for sharing your experience on the subject. Oh, no problem, man. No problem at all, man. It's the purpose of this. And in case you guys don't know, I go live every Sunday night. Try to go on 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, but I ain't gonna tell you what time I'm on, but try to show up. You know what I'm saying? It's mainly to answer questions. I get a lot of emails of questions, and I really don't think people show up on a live to ask the question. But I try to answer it during this session. And if I don't have no questions in there, I try to do like a topic I touch on. Because of the YouTube, if this video got too much error in it, too much blank space in it, I'm gonna take it down. I don't want to have no videos on the channels to have them up. I don't. That's not what this channel is about. This channel is about informing, educating, and it's serving a purpose. So if the live is full, like me, that's why I try to make a subject and talk on it. If it's full, it'll stay up. That way people can come back and check it out later on and get something out of it, not just me on here rambling. Even though I say rambling, but believe me, it's the purpose of some of the stuff I'm saying, you know. And in case you guys wonder why I'm looking down, the camera's up here. I don't think whoever came up with webcam, they thought about that. You got to look up. But anyway, so I was like, I'm looking down, but I'm not. I was looking at the screen. Instead of me looking up there. But anyway, intermodal drivers, if you ever curious about intermodal, have a plan. Don't just get in it just to be saying I'm just gonna do something. Unless you're at the point in your life where you just kind of want you want to adventure or something, do it. But if you like young and you up and coming, like when I say young, I mean like 20s, mid 30s. You up and coming, you trying to figure things out, have a purpose and a plan. Because you look up be 40 and 50 and 60 still doing rail yards intermodal, and you might not want to get on the ground, that cold ground, and keep building. I'm at the point now I don't want to get on the ground no more. I'm tired of getting on the ground. I'm tired of doing what they call that. I'm tired of being MMA with the chassis. I've been doing it for 10 years now. My body, it's cold outside right now as we speak, man. You think I feel like getting on the cold ground again? I don't. So if you don't want to be doing that till you're 50 and 60, I'll be seeing guys well into their 60s in the intermodal, in the rail yards, on the ground, hammering. Now, there's nothing wrong with that per se. You know what I'm saying? You got to get up out of a jam. You got to get up out of a jam, you know, especially if you got to move that load to make your money for that day. But yeah, you do that. But some of these guys I talk to, they stuck in a truck. I just say that. And they stuck in the truck in intermodal. They don't, the main thing I hear is, where else am I going to go to make this type of money with no degree? I hear that. So if I had $1 every time I heard that from a trucker. And a lot of times they don't even want to do it. They don't even want to drive a truck. They just doing it because they built up this lifestyle with this money they're quote unquote making, because the money in trucking could be very illusional. It could be like what they call it, smoking mirrors. You think you making one thing, and you break down all the nuts and bolts and everything you got to do to get that, you realize, we underpaid, right? So anyway, you take the money you think you're making, especially if you're on the 1099, you really think it's your money, and you have a good 3 or 4 months to start building this lifestyle up. And then now you got 2 cars, you got a house, you got a vacation house, you take care of everybody in the family, you know what I'm saying? Because you making more money than everybody in the family. So they come to you with their rent problems, they bill problems, and you look at your bank account, you're like, man, you don't know what your new zero is in your bank account, so you still think it's the regular numbers. You're like, man, I got it. And before you know it, you may get rid of 1 car note, and before you know it, you filled it up with something else because you think you got more money than you have. And now you got to keep working just to maintain what you do have. Ask me how I know, and I tell you the same, man. I tell you the same. Now I'm not as bad as I used to be now because I realize what's going on. But I'm just telling you, lifestyle creep is serious. So a lot of guys creep their lifestyle up and their money, they looking like, man, I can't go work in a warehouse and be able to survive off my bills. Well, I can't be able to go work at Burger King to survive off my bills. I can't take off work for 6 months to a year to go back to college or school or trade school to figure out another trade, to get some money built up, to be able to maintain my lifestyle while I'm still doing this. So they feel like they stuck, and they not stuck. I say this all the time. Anytime you give me a moment to breathe in, like what I say is that when I tell people to say they 3 to 6 months worth of income, like in case stuff hit the fan income, I call that breathing room. You give me enough breathing room, I'm gone. All right, Chan says your videos are great. They help me recognize intermodal wasn't for me. I respect the hustle though. I was coming before the race started going down. And I'm glad, you know what, Chance, I'm glad, man, because you actually got a chance to peek into it to see, you know what I'm saying, if it was for you. And you was actually honest with yourself and said that it's not for me. You know, man, a lot of guys it ain't for, man. You know, it's one of them things, like, it's one of them things, man, like, if you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, for most people, when they got somewhere they want to go, they'll tough it out. But some guys like you, they say, man, you know what? This ain't for me. I'm out. And I can respect it either way, because at the end of the day, this is your life. You know what I'm saying? This is my life. That's their life, whoever's life. And you got one of them. So why would you waste it like on some pointless activity that ain't really benefiting you? You know. So my head off to you, man. Chance for you making that decision, man. And yeah. I mean, and you got it before the race went down. You know what's crazy about that though? Every I would say, oh wait, if I say that, thank you about you say your videos are great. Thank you, man. I appreciate that Chance about the videos. But every like couple years, man, I would say every 3-4 years max, the market change. Like right now, we just went into we what happened was we went into the market of, well, it was a driver's market. Now it was actually kind of a broker slash carriers slash driver market. It's kind of in between. Then when Corona hit, it went to nobody's moving nothing because everybody trying to figure out what's going on, to now it's a driver's market because we are essential workers. And so guys like start seeing opportunities, start getting in where the rates was super high because they had to move so many loads because it was backed up so much. So when they got in their market, that was like an unpredictable, I call that a volatile market. They got into it when the market was so volatile because they didn't understand that. Like in that one video I did with Alex Junior Transport, he was like, man, he looked and seen that the warehouse, the ports was opening up, the containers was coming in. What happened was they was backed up being quarantined so much where they opened up enough of them to come through. It looked like the market was just swamped with freight, but it was, but it was like I ain't gonna say it was a manufacturer. It's another word I'm looking for. It was a what's they call organized chaos. It was more of an organized chaos type of deal. Like they had to start shipping freight, otherwise the economy would collapse. So they got to move stuff. So when they trying to figure out stuff was going on, when they started moving stuff, there was so much freight coming in, and rates were super high because they had to move all these loads. People thought that it was really a driver's market, but that was short lived. I think that went on for about no more than a year, max. And then now that it's getting back to normal, getting caught back up. Now you see the tables turned. Now it's a broker's market because they lowballing the freight so much with guys going on strikes. But if you notice, if anybody have followed trucking for so long, and I'm gonna get back on subject at hand, guys. I see the time is going up here, but I'm gonna get back to subject at hand. You notice, like even before, if anybody can follow trucking for the last 10 years, you see a couple years before the corona, just regular trucking, drivers market, carriers market, customer, broker. They all got markets, right? When it's working out for them. And it always turns. So then you always have when it's the drivers, when it's not the drivers market no more, you have truckers going on strike, you have them protesting, but then you always have fuel increase, you always have some type of unexpected expenses onto the trucker. Even carriers, they get hit with a lot of they get hit. Carriers, we think owner operators get hit with some stuff. Carriers get hit with some stuff that owner operators can't even phantom the stuff they get hit with. They have to increase or improve on. But anyway, I digress. But so at the end of the day, it's always going to turn. The table's always going to turn. Intermodal is one of them divisions of trucking where it's I ain't gonna say it's job security because everything could be anything on the chopping block. I would say that, but I think the intermodal will be one of the last ones because it's so ingrained in the fabric of the U.S. that they got to really, in order to get rid of intermodal, to get rid of all these big boys. I'm talking about. I ain't gonna say their names especially because it's alive. Because YouTube, I ain't saying YouTube, But anyway, them big guys, they have connections beyond just the normal businessman or businesswoman or business company. So in order to like revamp all that, to really like just get rid of all that, it's gonna knock a hole so big in the US that it's gonna take them years. When I say years, years to recover from that, if they're able to recover. So when they shut down, it's a possibility that they won't go out of business. I ain't gonna put nothing on the table because anything's possible, but they ain't go out of business. So if you ever sustain yourself and hold on, I think that for the most part you will be able to come out on a winning end if you ever hold on. So that's why intermodal is kind of one of them. Peanut, you gotta turn it down some, baby. Turn it down some, baby. Okay. So intermodal is one of them things like where I forgot what I was saying. It threw me off. Intermodal, Peanut, close the door, baby. You just trying to unmade bed around this mother clutter. Sorry about that, man. Bed ain't made up. Close that door. Huh? Close the door. Close the door. Apaga la luz. Apaga la luz. Anyway, what was I saying? Not that light, baby. That's your room light. Oh man, what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. But intermodal, pretty much intermodal type of industry where it's always gonna be around. I forgot what I was going with that. My daughter threw me off. But I know that it's gonna be around, and it's something that you shouldn't have to be into forever. You just have a plan. You get into it. That's what I was going with. I'm back. I'm warming up now. You have a plan when you get into it, and it can work out for you. But if you don't have a plan, you just get in it any kind of way, it ain't gonna last long for you, man. It ain't gonna last long for you. And I feel all the guys on YouTube talking about the trucking industry is trash right now. I be seeing a lot of stuff talking about it's trash and you know the rates are just down, brokers are really doing us wrong and all that stuff. And I agree. And I hear guys talking about we got to shut down. I agree. But you guys knowing that same day it was shut down, I was out there just driving around looking. The same day where I think the New York City had shut down, over in Chicagoland area, there was so many drivers out there. So I'm thinking like, I'm gonna say this before I'm gonna say this, guys, and I ain't gonna be on too much longer. That tactic I don't think will work. And the reason I say that is because there's too many factors into somebody rates. Like let's say I call a broker, right? And let's say my truck is paid off, my house is paid off, my car's paid off. I'm making money because I'm trying to do whatever I'm trying to do, but my back not against the wall like that. So you offer me a crazy load or something, I'm not gonna take it. And some guys that have overhead like that. Princess, turn down some, baby. Turn down some. Turn down a little bit. Come on, baby. Turn it down. Come on now. Come on, seriously, turn it down. A little more. That's cool, right there. Hold on to right there. All right. What was I saying? Talk on it, man. Oh yeah. So let's say my back against the wall. Let's say my back is not against the wall. So I call a broker and I tell them, hey man, I need to run this for so many dollars per mile. I give them my number. You do the math on that. Anybody know how to negotiate rates? You already know how this go, right? And so I hang up. The broker say, well, I can't do that for that. No, that ain't happening. I'll call you back if things change, right? Like, okay. You get a guys who come right back behind you and they don't know their numbers. They just probably new to the industry. Or they probably know their numbers, but they probably got to take something because they got a truck note coming up. They got a rent mortgage coming up. They got stuff they got to do, something. And they go say, you know what? I don't want to run for this, but I'm going to run it because I need to put something on the plate versus nothing. What happens right there? The guy that sat, he wanted to, like, man, look, set a standard. No, that's cheap. I'm not going to run it for that, period. Take away the bills, right? That's just unheard of to run it for that low. You run it for free, pretty much. You get a guy who back against the wall and he go run it. What happens to the rates? They go down. Same thing with a strike. So you got some guys say, I'm going to go on a strike right now. I don't want to, we not finna take this. We drivers, and no knock to the dudes who on strike. No knock to them. This just a tactic I think that's not going to work. So they say, we're not going to take this. We're going to sit down. We're going to park our trucks. Ain't no trucks running right now. We're going to sit. You're going to have them same guys, they back against the wall, say, you know what? They sitting, I'm running. So now they'll get out there and run. What happens? All you did was not spend no diesel for the day. You didn't move no loads for the day, but there was still somebody out there running the loads that you wasn't willing to run. So that tactic, I think, it has a good purpose. I think the reasoning behind it makes sense, but I don't think that's going to work. And you know, the higher ups, I ain't gonna sit on here. The higher ups know this. They've been doing this a long time, so they know this. They already go like, wait, I know this guy right here. He probably ain't gonna run, but this guy gonna run. You know why? Because they don't know the industry too good. And by the time they figure it out, we made so much money off of them. It don't matter. By the time the other guy getting back to the game when the business kind of up, then he gonna start running again. So after a while, they all will be running. Everybody gonna be happy until it become a drought where you get more drivers than you got freight. Then you're going to have this situation right here. You're going to have fuel going up. You're going to have brokers shorting on the rate. You're going to have customers trying to short you on the rates. You're going to have a lot of stuff going on that's going to cause a lot of drivers to really want to just shut down. Now, again, I don't even know the only thing I come up with that kind of solve that problem is take the money you do have while things are good, make other investments. That's like trying to stop a machine that's been going. Now, I'm gonna say this, and I don't want to sound too crazy, but I'm gonna say it. Trying to do that is trying to stop a machine that's been going for so long, working a certain way for so long, and you one person, two person, three person, it could be 300, 2,000, whatever, out of a pool of 1 million drivers. You 200-300 people gonna stop. You gonna stop the machine from running? Only reason a lot of guys are getting paid good during the Corona season was because nobody knew what was going on, what was going to happen. So they had to pay outrageous prices to get stuff moved because nobody knew. The future fate was unknown. So when you want to get somebody to buy something, provoke scarcity or famine or something type of problem, people will buy because they don't know what's going on. It's like during a pandemic. What was the number one price being sold the most of? Toilet tissue. Now, why toilet tissue? Don't know. But if you look at it, all the toilet tissue was gone. Because there was a scarcity. Like, man, we got to rack up. The canned goods was gone. A lot of the shells was gone. Why? Because they felt scarcity. So same thing with the trucking industry during the Corona. They felt scarcity. Like, man, we got to move these loads, get the economy back going, when the collapse, when those going things, we got to keep essential workers out here. A lot of guys was taking off that because I think the government was paying a lot of people to sit home. Like my brother, you guys seen an interview with my brother probably like a couple years ago. We was in his backyard, and he's over. He managed like a lot of owner operators, so he felt this a lot worse than me, But he's feeling it right now, to be honest with you. But a lot of owner operators he dealt with, they was getting paid more to sit home than they was to drive. They drivers, but the owner operators had to fill on trucks with drivers. So it's one of them supply and demand type deals, man. The rates is down when you got more drivers than you got freight in one area. Rates is up when you got more freight than you got drivers in a certain area. And what tripped me out is sometimes even with that dynamic, when you got more freight than you got drivers, you still have some brokers, those special kind of brokers, no disrespect to the brokers, but if you're a good broker, cool. But if you're one of the ones, you know what I'm talking about, they will still try to short you on the rate, knowing they got to move that load, knowing they got to move it because there's just so much freight to move. But for the normal side of things, more freight, less drivers, scarcity. They willing to pay that top dollar to move loads because they know they got to get so many loads moved out the area and they don't have no drivers to cover it. But even right now, to this day, a lot of guys is getting out of it. But I'm all off talking about, I'm probably talking about intermodal, man. But let's even intermodal too, man. Like, I don't know. Intermodal is different. Intermodal is different in this way. I would say this. No, they're not. I just thought about it. I was about to say intermodal is different because you go into the rail yard to get a load and something wrong with it, the rail yard don't beg you to take it out. Now I'm like, well, if somebody want to move a load, when you want to move that load out of your facility to get it out of there, and I thought about it. No, so they get paid off of premise and storage, which is the same thing. So the longer that box sitting there, the more money they making anyway. So they making money off the box anyway. After so many days of sitting in that yard, they start getting charged. They start charging them premise. So of course there won't be no rush to get your loads out of the yard if you can't find it. Anyway, that's my little rant. But anyway, guys, I just, this industry, man, it's one of them. It could be banging, it could be good if you use it right. If you don't use it right, you could be stressed out. You could be trying to figure out, what am I going to do? I can't take off work enough to go, can't take off time enough to go back to school. Trade school, probably at least 6 months. I can't survive that long with no income, so I'm gonna keep sucking it up. And here's the other thing too, and I'm gonna say this, and if anybody any questions while I'm sitting on here, guys, please put in the chat right now, because I ain't gonna be on too much longer. But nothing too, like, if what you doing, this is just for any driver out there, if you new or you've been driving a while, if you doing the same thing year after year after year after year, and this is what I'm saying, guys, and nothing's changing, but you're still complaining about your situation, what should one person do about that? That's a question. If anybody want to answer that, put in the chat. What should one person do about that? Doing the same thing year after year, year after year. Nothing's changing and you complaining. What should you do about that? Or that you could be me. Like, if I'm complaining about something over and over again year after year, what should I do about that? Like I said on one of my lives before, there's nobody out of over my 20 years of being out here in this industry. I don't know a lot, and some guys have been out there driving 40, 30, 50 years. But me, I'm a real observant person. I take note. I watch. I watch and see, like with the trucking market, I watch stuff like that. I want to make sure whatever's the direction I'm going now, I do. Before I didn't. I was just trying to figure stuff out. But now I do. But I want to see, like, okay, what's different? And from the trucking industry, the way it is, guys, I'm going to tell you like this, man. They finding more and more ways to squeeze more money out of the driver. I don't know if I think it's like a third. If somebody correct me if I'm wrong on this. When you got an employee, whether you're a company driver or a regular worker, I believe a company pay you a third of what they actually gross in the company. So if a driver making, I don't even want to do the numbers right now. I don't even feel I have the mental capacity to do it right now. I do, but I just don't want to do it. I'm just gonna throw it out there. If a driver is making a company X amount of dollars, but they trying to short it more and more and more and more, how much is the company actually making off that driver? Even with an owner-operator, if an owner-operator at least going to a company, because that's what I do, so I can speak on that, and an owner-operator make this much money, how much is the company making? Unless you're a fair company. I'm talking about a company that really cut corners. Like, here's the thing that I dealt with before in the past, where you have a rate con. They told me I get paid 80% of the load, right? Of the rate con, 80% of the rate con, right? The dispatcher at the time accidentally sent me the original rate con, because they used to send me the rate cons like with like the adjusted rate. So I get paid 80% of what they send me. But one time the dispatcher accidentally sent me the original rate con, not the adjusted rate. And I seen what the load I've been doing for like the past year. I seen what it actually paid. And I said, I get paid 80% of this. They're like, oh no, we sent you the wrong one. That was a mistake. And I'm like, all this time I was running that load. So what I'm saying is, if an owner operator making this much money, at least onto the company, how much is the company actually making off the owner operator? That's why I push. That's why I say all the time, man, it's not that I'm against trucking. My thing is, don't be a dumb trucker, man. I mean, I want to say it a nicer way, but no, sometimes you got to just say it outright. Don't be a dumb trucker, man. Really, really, when you're in that truck, make it work for you, man. Really learn some stuff, man, because if you want to plan on doing this to the end of time, the way trucking is going, the way pulling resources from truckers and drivers, you think it's bad now, just keep living. Because trucking is one of them industries where they hone in on it more and more and more and more and more and more. Before you know it, a trucker could be driving. Now I ain't gonna say this for a fact. This is me just saying something right now. A trucker could be driving not that far above minimum wage if you ain't already there right now. You're driving a heavy piece of equipment. able to haul at least 80,000 pounds in it. You ain't talking about super singles. You talking about regular dualies, 18 wheels with all type of moving parts on it, different type of trailer of trailers you pulling, with height problems, width problems. You can't go down everywhere street with them with that big truck problem, but you probably gonna be able to make barely more than minimum wage, and you hauling all that dangerous equipment. So that's what I'm saying. So that's what I mean when I say I don't trucking. It works when you work it. It's like anything else. Like you can have a career where you make decent money and you could just mess around and mess up the money. Yeah, then you in the same boat with somebody who's trying to really make it ahead. They just don't have enough money. You just messing off your money. But trucking, you gotta be able to find a way to make it work for you. And intermodal, I found out it works best for me in my situation. Intermodal do. So those who ask me questions, who email me questions about that, it works best for my situation. All right, hold on. Chance said, how long you think this down cycle, low rates is going to last? I recognize it's affecting the whole industry. I totally agree with what you're talking about. Invested real hard for 2 more years. Yeah, you got a plan. But as far as to answer your question, I would say about a good at least 6 more months of the industry being like this. I could be wrong. No, don't hold that, guys. Don't hold me to this. Just based off of what I've seen and based off the way the market look, I would say at least 6 more months it'd be a brokerage market. Maybe less, maybe more. Because you got to understand something too. You got 3 more months coming up. You got December coming up. You got the things going on in November. You got things going on in December. You got Black Friday and all that stuff, right? Right after that, the normal rate, the normal market, January, February, March, it's slow. People doing inventory, all type of stuff. So not a lot of stuff is moving. And then you got like, especially if you do import, if you guys didn't know this, because you do import boxes, which a lot of stuff that you go on 53 footers domestically come imported. So we be affected too. You got a Chinese New Year, the whole month of February. So that's a whole month gone by itself. Then you got March recouping from what February was down because the Chinese New Year held it down for a month. You got March trying to recoup, then trying to spring back, get things back moving again. That's why I say at least 6 months. So you figure 6 months from now, it'd be what, December, January, February, March, April, May, about May, June. It might be a turn. But who knows? They got the monkey stuff going on now, man. And they got the other stuff going on. The corona still hanging on by a limb. And they got the monkey stuff on the loose. I mean, you don't know, man. I mean, I was about to say something, but I ain't gonna say it on here. But to answer your question, I think about at least 6 more months. And then I hope what don't happen, but it always happens every time the market turns. You get an influx of new drivers becoming owner operators. They try to get in when it's good, and they think it's always gonna be like that because they came in. They don't study the market. I hope that don't happen, but based off of history, it always happens. And then you gonna have guys coming in that don't know a thing, and they go run down a race in a good market. When things is supposed to be booming around June, July, August, October-ish, booming months. Some guys will work the months and don't work the winter. That's how good it could be if you do it right. But you gonna have guys coming in there, they go see the market real good, don't know your numbers, and run it crazy and run the market back down when it's supposed to be booming. That's why I say it's too many factors that factors into our pay that I don't like. So that shutting down is a good tactic, but I don't think it'll be feasible with what they're trying to accomplish. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's just my thoughts, guys. This is my opinion. Because you got guys, they don't know the game. They'll get in and run it down. That's just the way it goes. What other industry could you get in for under $100,000 start making $100,000 a year? I'm pretty sure something out there. What's common? Trucking. But they don't understand the cost that comes with all that. You see 100,000, that don't mean that's the top line. What about that bottom line? People don't pay attention to that bottom line. So you're gonna have, I don't know, man. Some people like, man, you a Debbie Downer. I'm not a Debbie Downer. I'm a realist. I'm a realist. I can't sit here and just tell you like, well, oh, it's sunshine and rain. You know, the rainbows. You know, the sun is coming out when I see a big old thunderstorm coming. I can't. I won't even feel right telling you that. You know, but so I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna get off here, guys. Anybody getting into trucking, or if you in trucking, man, find a way to really take that money you making, lower your overhead, and make and invest like Chance is doing. He investing hard because you got to really learn it. You got to learn how to put your money to work for you. That's the only way. You cannot work your way out of the rat race. It don't work like that. It just don't work. Ask me how I know, and I tell you the same, man. I tell you the same. 10 years, man. 10 years to finally it took me 10 years to realize this is not working. I think I do more overtime, I do everything else, and I realize this ain't working. Nah, it ain't working. So you got to be intentional. I think I did a live. You guys didn't check that live out, go check it out. If you gonna be a trucker, be intentional to be successful in trucking. There's no accidental success in trucking. It just don't happen, especially the way they trying to really just knock us down a lot of pegs in so many ways. I can't even list them on this live. But they try to knock us down so much, man. Like, when I say knock us down, because at the end of the day, it's about the bottom line of the money you're making to provide for yourself and your economic future. That's what it's about. You boil down the nuts and bolts of it. That's mainly what it's about for majority of drivers. Now, you got some drivers that exception to the rule. They do it for the fun of it, and they do it for, a hobby. They do it because they just want to get out the house. They do it, a lot of the reasons. But the top 90% guys do it because they want to get an income from it to be able to provide for themselves so they won't be homeless. That's just nuts and bolts of it. So they do it. They deal with it. But when you do stuff like that, you just have to have a plan. You have to have a way to, like, you got to build your own economic system within a system. Take the money you're getting and really learn how to work it, man. So that it's working for you. That way, when you go to work now, your boss say, hey, man, I know you said you got your anniversary tonight, man. You know you have to be off kind of early, but you know what? We got this load that just came up, and you got to run it. You don't run it, you fire. And you go say, you know what? I actually like working here, but should I see you on Monday or am I fired? I'm leaving. And how would that feel? It feels great. Now, you ain't disrespecting the boss, man, but you also know you got plans outside of just working your life to the whole. I'm off my rant, guys. I'm back. But anyway, guys, I'm finna get up out of here, guys. You guys ain't have no questions. Well, actually, no, because it's over an hour now, guys. So I'm going to bail out, man. So anyway, man, thank you guys for checking in with your boy, man. And Lord willing, I try to be here every Sunday night. I'm about to start announcing my webinars again. If you guys want to get into it, what the Academy is about. Stopping the webinar is free. The webinar is free. Just come in, see if it matches what you got going on. If it don't, just stop by and holler at your boy, man, and skedaddle, like some people do, I'm going to start announcing that more. I just got to get some things in order before I start announcing that more, but it will be coming up. And if you guys got any questions, you see this on a replay, leave it in the comments below, and I will try to. Oh, wait a minute. Before I get off, I had a question from last week. I just thought about it. Hold on, guys. I hope I answered it. I think I answered it to them. I don't know if I told them I'll answer it on this. It's hold on, guys. Try to be a man of my word, man. All right. I think it's. All right, that ain't it. Is it? It says it. All right. I am Groot. Shout out to I am Groot. He asked this question right here. Wait. Wait, my bad. I am Groot. What's it? I don't know if there's a question. What is the question? I said I was gonna answer it. Oh, here we go. Yes, the question was right here. Here we go. I am Groot said exactly 100. Have a plan. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time trucking for nothing. Have an exit plan. I agree. Save your money and you can start your own. If I can start over, I'll work, save money. Okay, I'm out of there. I'm so out of there. Question, man. Anyway, shout out to I am Groot. I think that was you that said that. Anyway, if you guys see this, if you guys see this on a replay, and you got any questions that I'm not able to get to right now, you want to see it on the next video, type next video question. So I will remember. I will make a note of it. I will make notes of it because I thought I had a question on it with the I am Groot. I don't know, but if not, just text it in the comments below. Question for next live. I promise you, I'm gonna try to get to it. Then we'll kick it off like that. So anyway, YouTube. Hope this live was helpful. Give you a little understand what's going on out here. I was blinking a lot right there. See you guys next video. Peace. I'm so crazy at times, guys. I'm sorry.